The weight of the key. The case is the size of a hardcover book, velvet-lined, hinged open on a glass table in a room that smells like leather and something else, something engineered to make you feel like you belong here. Inside the case, a single car key, machined from a solid block of platinum and sapphire crystal, sitting in a depression molded precisely to its shape, the way a jeweler sets a stone. On the inside of the lid, engraved in type small enough that you have to lean forward, 1 of 1. Beneath it, in smaller characters still, a number that curves slightly with the contour of the metal. $100 million. Your hand hovers above it, 2 inches from the surface. You've been in this position for 4 seconds, long enough that the dealer standing across the table has started to smile. Not at you, at the sale. Your fingertips are close enough to feel the cold rising off the platinum. You haven't touched it yet. You are savoring the last moment before the key belongs to you, before you belong to it. You pick it up. It weighs almost nothing. The weight. The floor of your garage reflects the overhead lighting like still water. Seamless epoxy. Not a scratch. Not a scuff. The digital panel on the wall reads 62.4 degrees Fahrenheit. A dehumidifier the size of a washing machine hums in the corner, the only sound in the room besides your breathing. This is not a garage. This is a vault, and it costs $48,000 a year just to keep the air this temperature. The car sits in the center, draped in a custom-fitted cover made of a fabric the ownership liaison told you costs $14,000. You're pulling the cover back now, 1 corner at a time, slowly, following a printed diagram. Not because the cover is delicate, because removing it incorrectly voids a subsection of the warranty. A diagram for a car cover. The cover comes off. The car is underneath. You knew it would be. You put it here 11 days ago. But seeing it still hits you somewhere behind the sternum. The paint has a depth to it that doesn't photograph correctly. The lines catch light at angles that make you hold your breath. On the corkboard near the door, pinned between a utility summary and a maintenance calendar, the storage facility insurance premium, $120,000 per year, separate from the car's own insurance. This is just for the room. You pull out your phone, frame the shot. The car gleams under the vault lights. Every line perfect, every surface untouched. You post the photo. 300 likes in 6 minutes. No one asks about the electric bill. No one sees the corkboard. No one sees the diagram folded in your back pocket. The photo is the fantasy. The room is the invoice. The silence. 4 faces on a conference call screen. You. An insurance broker in a wood-paneled office. A logistics coordinator with a headset. A representative from the manufacturer labeled Ownership Experience. All 4 cameras on. You are the only one not in business attire. You are asking permission to drive your car to dinner. Not metaphorically. You want to drive 16 miles to a restaurant on Saturday night. The logistics coordinator pulls up satellite imagery of the route on a shared screen. She's checking road surface conditions. There's a crack in the asphalt on mile 9. She flags it. The insurance broker shares a document. An insurance rider for a single recreational drive. Not annual. Not monthly. Per drive. $28,000. You read the number. Your eyes stay on it 1 beat too long. Then, you initial the digital document. The logistics coordinator mentions the route clearance fee, $4,200, separate from the rider. You initial that too. She says something else, casually, the way someone mentions the weather. The previous owner drove this car twice in 4 years. You laugh. The call ends. You close the laptop. The vault is silent. The car sits under its cover. The key sits in its velvet case on the counter. It has not moved since the day it arrived. Saturday is 3 days away. You have 16 miles of approved driving ahead of you. 4 professionals just spent 40 minutes deciding whether you are allowed to use something you own. The key doesn't move. The drive. The steering wheel is hand-stitched leather. 1 artisan. 37 hours. A pattern you can feel with your fingertips. Your palms are at 10 and 2. They are sweating. The sweat on the leather feels like vandalism. A lead car and a follow car bracket you on the approved route, $6,500 each, provided by the logistics company. You are driving 31 miles per hour on a road with a 45 miles per hour speed limit. The logistics coordinator is on speakerphone, tracking your GPS position in real time. Her voice is calm. She's done this before. You haven't. The odometer reads 00007, 7 miles. You do the math without saying it out loud. The insurance rider, $28,000. The 2 escort vehicles, $13,000. Route clearance, $4,200. $4,200 spent, 7 miles driven. $6,457 per mile. You grip the steering wheel tighter. The artisan's 37 hours of stitching press into your palms. You arrive at the restaurant. A valet approaches. You step between him and the car door before he can touch the handle. You park it yourself, in a space the logistics team scouted 2 days earlier. You take another photo in the parking lot. The car behind you. You in front of it. In the photo, you look happy. In the parking lot, you are calculating how much it costs to drive home. You sit down at the table. A cloth napkin folded into a triangle on a plate you haven't touched. You order a bottle of wine. $400. The cheapest thing you've purchased today. Your phone buzzes. An email from the ownership liaison. Subject line: post-drive inspection. Required within 48 hours. A certified technician, flown in from the manufacturer's facility. Mandatory after every recreational use. $19,000. You set the phone face down on the table. Pick up the wine glass. The key presses against your chest through your jacket pocket. Platinum and sapphire. The weight of a second heartbeat you didn't ask for. The wine tastes fine. Not $6,457 per mile fine. Just fine. The crack. The quarterly statement from your wealth management firm sits on your desk. Heavy stock paper. The kind with a watermark you can feel with your thumb. 6 pages. 1 page dedicated entirely to a single line item. Asset carrying costs. Automotive. You have circled a number in red ink. $1,247,000. Not the car's value, the cost of owning it for 90 days. Insurance, storage, the logistics team's retainer, post-drive inspections, climate vault maintenance, a depreciation reserve your wealth manager established for accounting purposes. $1,247,000. 83 of those 90 days, the car sat in the vault. 7 of those days, you drove it. The other 83, it just breathed expensive air and digested your money. You call your wealth manager. You ask a question for the first time in your ownership. What would it cost to just not own this anymore? 2 seconds of silence. That's a conversation we should have in person. You hang up. You stare at the statement. Your eye catches a line item you've never questioned before. Market position reserve, $340,000. You call back. What is this? A fund, set aside quarterly, to keep the car visible in collector circles. Marketing materials, event placements, industry relationships, so that its resale value doesn't decay from obscurity. You are paying $340,000 every 3 months to advertise something you haven't decided to sell. The key sits on your desk, out of its velvet case for the first time, just sitting on wood. Like any other key, 6 inches from the red circle on the statement. Your hand rests flat on the desk between them. You don't reach for either. The arithmetic. A whiteboard on wheels in your home office. The kind that belongs in a startup, not in a room with crown molding. You've written numbers on it in black marker, not in columns, not in charts. Scattered. Written at angles, circled, with arrows connecting some of them. Your handwriting gets smaller as the numbers get larger. Marker cap in your teeth. You write one final calculation. Total expenditure since purchase. Everything, all of it, divided by total miles driven. 112 miles in 14 months. You step back. $47,000 per mile. You circle it again, circle it a third time. The marker squeaks against the board on the third pass. You erase a corner of the whiteboard. You try something else. A break-even calculation. How many miles to bring the per mile cost below $1,000? Over 100,000 miles. At your current rate, 112 miles in 14 months, that's 104 years. You write 104 years on the whiteboard. The marker is running dry. The letters come out faded, like the number itself is embarrassed to exist. You stand there. The vault is 2 rooms away. The car is inside it. The key is inside it too, sitting in the dark on a shelf you stopped visiting. You put the cap on the marker. You don't erase the whiteboard. You leave the room. The numbers stay. $47,000 per mile. 104 years. The marker sits in the tray, drying out. The overhead light stays on. Nobody else comes in here. The other man. The restaurant has cracked vinyl seats and paper placemats. A coffee cup with a chip on the rim sits in front of a man in his early 60s. His watch is a Patek Philippe. His jacket is off the rack. There's a grease stain on his left cuff the size of a thumbprint. He was once worth $400 million. He's now worth $80 million. He stirs his coffee with a spoon too small for the cup and talks about a Tuesday afternoon in March. He hadn't left his property in 11 days. Not because he was sick, not because he was busy, because the logistics of moving the car had become the logistics of his life. The calls, the approvals, the riders, the escorts, the inspections, they had metastasized from the car to everything around it. He stopped leaving because leaving required permission from people he paid to manage an object he never used. He owned the car before you did. You found him through the ownership liaison. You came expecting answers about the car. He doesn't talk about the car. He says a number. 22 million. Not the purchase price. The carrying costs. 6 years. Insurance, logistics, staffing, inspections, storage, the market position reserve. $22 million spent on an object he drove fewer than 400 miles. He says it the way you say the name of someone you used to love. Flat, precise, final. The worst part wasn't the money, he says. He sets down the spoon. The worst part was the year after I sold it, because everyone knew. And what they decided it meant was that I couldn't afford it anymore. He pauses. I could afford it. I could afford all of it. I just couldn't afford who I was becoming while I paid for it. You nod. The nod comes too fast, the kind that says, I hear you. While the body means, I'm not there yet. He looks at you directly. You're going to try to sell it. Not a question. Let me save you about $4 million in advisory fees. Call your wealth manager. Ask one question. What is the disposition cost? And when they tell you, sit down before you do the math. He slides a card across the table. Not his, an attorney's. You'll need this after. You take the card. Your hand is steady. Your jaw is not. He picks up his coffee, takes a sip from the chipped cup. The grease stain on his cuff catches the fluorescent light. This is what $22 million buys you freedom from. Cracked vinyl, paper placemats, a cup with a chip on the rim, and the ability to leave your property on a Tuesday without making a phone call. The trapdoor. The wealth manager's office has a mahogany desk with almost nothing on it. A leather blotter, a single pen, a glass of water neither of you has touched. Behind him, a window frames a city skyline you've stopped seeing. You sit across from him. You've asked the question, what is the disposition cost? He places a single sheet of paper on the desk between you. You read it. Your lips move. Not speaking. Processing. The way you read something that changes the terms of your life. $8,400,000. Brokerage fees, $4.2 million, negotiated down to 4.2% on the car's current market value, which has softened to $96 million. Not $100 million anymore. Mileage. Use history. Words that make driving sound like damage. Tax obligations triggered by the sale structure. Early termination of insurance policies, cancellation penalties built into every contract, logistics retainers with early exit clauses, the market position campaign, accelerated for a competitive sale window instead of auctioned at a discount. $8,400,000 to stop owning something. Then he says the rest. There's also the matter of timing. If you list now, in the current collector market, we expect a sale window of 18 to 24 months. Your eyes move from the paper to his face. During that period, carrying costs continue. 18 months, at current rates, another $7.5 million. You sit with that. $8.4 million to sell it, $7.5 million to wait for someone to buy it, $15.9 million for the privilege of walking away from something that was supposed to make you feel free. You reach for the glass of water, you drink, you set it down, it leaves a ring on the mahogany. The wealth manager looks at the ring. You don't care about the ring. This is the first time you've been careless with something expensive. The paper sits between you, $8,400,000. You don't pick it up. The number is already memorized, the way all the worst numbers are. The key. The vault again. Same floor. Same hum. Same 62.4 degrees Fahrenheit on the digital panel. But the whiteboard from your office is here now, wheeled in beside the car. The number's still on it. $47,000 per mile. 104 years. The car cover is on the ground, not folded according to the diagram, pulled off and dropped. The $14,000 fabric bunched on the $48,000 floor. You stand between the whiteboard and the car. The key is in your hand, not in its velvet case, in your bare palm. You run your thumb over the sapphire crystal, the way you touch something you're memorizing before letting it go. It's warm. The platinum has taken the temperature of your grip, first time. On the whiteboard, beneath all the scattered calculations, you've written one final number in red marker, the same red as the circle on the quarterly statement. $127,400,000. Purchase price. Carrying costs to date. Projected disposition cost. Sale window carrying costs. Everything. The total weight of the key in your hand, denominated in dollars. Beneath it, in smaller letters, 1112 me. You look at the car. The paint still has that depth. The lines still catch light at angles that make you hold your breath. It is the most beautiful object you have ever owned. It is the most expensive lesson you have ever bought. You look at the whiteboard. You look at the key, warm in your palm. The version of you who stood in a showroom with your hand hovering over a velvet case believed that what you were reaching for was freedom. That version of you was not wrong about the car. The car is everything it promised to be. That version of you was wrong about the key, about what it opened, about what it locked. The most expensive thing about a $100 million car was never the car. It was the person you had to become to keep it, and the person you had to stop being to let it go. Before you buy anything, at any price, calculate the disposition cost, not the price, not the monthly payment, the cost of undoing the decision. If you can't find that number, you're not buying an asset. You're entering a contract someone designed so you'd never read the last page. If this changed how you see what you own, or what owns you, please subscribe. Every video on this channel is built to show you the last page of a contract the system hopes you'll never read. Next week, we open a different contract. You'll want to be here for that one.